growing up, I was always embarrassed of having albinism. I didn't want to be the different. I mean, obviously, I look very different compared to all my peers, so that was hard. So on top of that, I didn't want to admit that I couldn't see things. So I did a lot of fake it till you make it. And then, you know, growing up, I played a lot of basketball. And then I learned about goalball at the age of 13. And I didn't really want to, you know, I went and I saw it and I was like, yeah, I'm not doing that. Like, that's throwing a hard ball at me when I can't see. And I'm already, quote unquote, a weirdo because I can't see. So I don't want to be labeled as someone playing this really weird sport. And yeah, they're just throwing balls at each other really hard. So I'm like, I don't want anything to do with that. And so I kind of, you know, went back and continued just like playing school basketball. But then realizing as I get older, it's going to be harder to keep up to that level, right? So I really didn't give goalball a fair enough chance. And I don't know, like, I feel like it just kind of snapped one day. It's like, you know what? You are different. You can't see so great, and that's okay. So I did. I gave goalball a second chance, and it's turned into shaping my whole life. And it was definitely being exposed to athletes with a visual impairment that helped me come to terms with my own disability. And, you know, seeing how they don't let it stop them, I think helped push me and shape me to who I am today. My low vision itinerant teacher was on the board of directors for, I'll call it Parasport PEI. I don't remember what their name is now, it was back then, but he was on the board and with the PEI coach, and he told them about a student that he had who really enjoys sports and has albinism, so a very evident visual impairment, and he kind of connected me with the coach. And then it kind of like, you know, I went to a practice, I said, not a chance. And then the following year I was kind of like, you know what, I do need to give it a fair shot, because, you know, it actually is kind of cool. But yeah, I'm definitely glad I gave it that second chance. My oldest son is now starting to play goalball. And so just recently he was at a practice and he kind of got hit with the ball a little too hard and it made him cry. And I did get all mama bear, and I was all like, you know what? No, maybe we shouldn't do this. You're going to get hurt. And I'm like, but then he kind of walked it off and we're like, you know what? Get back in there. So it's kind of like, it is going to suck at first seeing your kid get hit with a hard ball. I know from experience now. But it's just one of those things. You got to let them try it. And, you know, they're either going to like it or they're not going to like it. But we can't decide for our kids. We got to let them make the decision. And it comes down to, you know, now I know, maybe make sure Lucas doesn't get the ball thrown at him as hard as it was. Because, yeah, the poor boy, I felt bad. But yeah, it is just that, is you have to let your kids make that decision. I try to go home as often as I can. All my family still lives there. I still have a lot of friends that live there. So I try to go home. And yeah, like every time in anything that I do, anytime it has hometown, I always put Charlottetown, Prince Edward Island, because that is my home. I will always be an Islander. I always have Island pride. As much as I've lived in Ontario for about as long as I've lived in PEI now, PEI is still my home. Yeah, it's really nice. They're so supportive, and you know, every time we go to a major event, I always get the little DMs being like, Amy, you know, can you do an interview here? And I think they're just as excited to have an Islander, you know, a representative from the island, because we're just so small. So to have, you know, to produce top athletes is just so remarkable. But yeah, a lot of the times it's like, okay, like, hey, let's get together, let's do this. And it's kind of like, you know what, I actually, now that we're going to a major games, I have a media attaché. I'm not allowed to be the one setting up all of these, so you have to go through them. But they're like, yeah, but we're just chit-chatting. And I'm like, yeah, I know, but like, so it is so cool to see the support that I still get from the island. And you know, I was just recently there after Santiago, and I was awarded the top female athlete of the year and their lieutenant governor award, which is the top athlete in PEI. So that was pretty remarkable, knowing that we're now having amazing talent come out of the island, and we've seen it with like Heather Moyse and a lot of them. And so to be up there with those athletes and to be recognized with them is also just an incredible moment.